So this is what welcome to my channel. Yes, I caved in. Yesterday I went to the Morphe store and I picked up the Manny MUA X Morphe palette. If you didn't see that video, that was my last video and I'll have it linked down below and in the cards. But upon being at the Morphe store, I did see the beautiful Jaclyn Hill display and I caved in. I got it. Yes, I know. I couldn't resist it. I saw it all on the display and I was like, yes, I need it. We're going to be doing a really in-depth video on all these 3 different highlighter formulas. So I do have the Flash palette, and then I have the Do Me setting powder, Luminous powder, and then I got 3 of the loose highlighters. That's why I don't have all of my makeup on, because I'm going to be trying these out all individually, and then I'm going to be doing a wear test comparison with the Jaclyn Hill setting powder. So we're going to be deep diving into this. So first off, the names are really confusing. I feel like they could not figure out what the heck they wanted to name all of this stuff, but this is called the Accent Light highlighter palette, and this is $49 and it comes in 2 different shades. I have the Flash palette, but nowhere on this palette does it say Accent Light highlighter palette. It just says highlighter palette. So that was a little bit weird, but it is so pretty. And then this is the Mood Light Luminous powder. This is $32 and it comes in 5 different shades. But on the packaging, on here, it just says Luminous powder and Do Me. I know, it's really confusing. And then as for these other highlighters, these are called the Beaming Loose Highlighter, and these are $24 each, and there's 5 shades, and I have 3. And on the packaging, it just says Loose Highlighter, but I have the shade Extra, Amped, and High Volt. So these are pretty hefty price. I decided not to get the brushes. I saw the brushes and I was like, to get brushes or to get 2 other mini highlighter, or I say mini, but honestly, this would last you 10 years, but I was like, brushes or 2 other shades, and so I picked the 2 other shades. But online they have the trio of the brushes, and that is $54. And now I want to get into all of the swatches. I did do indoor and outdoor in the sunlight for these because I really want to show you guys what it would look like in both lightings, and I felt like these looked really pretty in both lighting. So I'm going to start off with a palette. I'm going to flip it around here. It is really hard to keep this up. Let me move my hand so you can see. I'm not like this. I was swatching it and there were times that it just fell down, and it is really heavy on this top part. So just a fair warning on that. But I swatched this palette, this row over, and then from starting at my elbow and then working upwards, just so you know which ones I'm talking about. We're gonna do the indoor swatch first. So we have Gleam, Ice, Sparks, and then Mesmerize. And then now let's do the outdoor swatches. Same thing, Gleam, Ice, Sparks, and Mesmerize. These all look so pretty and I cannot wait to get into this. And then now let's get into the Beaming Loose highlighters. So I have 3 and I swatched them the same way. So for indoor, it's Extra, High Volt, and then Amped. Same thing outside, Extra, High Volt, and Amped. And outside, I feel like you can really see all of how intense these actually are. Especially Extra. Extra is the lightest champagne gold color. It's almost silver, but it has just the teeniest little bit of gold to where it's not so silver. And then as for the Luminous powder, I got it in Do Me, but I did it also indoor and outdoor. I felt like this looked a little bit better indoor, but I did a swatch where I kind of blended it out, and then I did an actual finger swatch with the Luminous powder. And then outdoor, it was a little bit harder to see it, to get that perfect like sunlight to kind of catch it. It is a little bit early in the morning, and I apologize if my arms had goosebumps on it. It was so cold to do swatches, but the sun was out, so I went ahead and did the swatches for you guys. All right, so now that I have done all of the swatches, prices, all of that good stuff, let's finally put this on our face. So the first one that I'm going to be trying out is the Flash palette, and I'm going to use this all over my face, and I'm also going to put it a little bit on my eyes as well. I just put concealer on, that's why it's creasing so much, but I'm going to put this on, take it off, and then do the other highlighters. And then for this, I am using my favorite highlighting brush. This is the ColourPop F5 brush. I use this all the time for highlighters. I'm probably going to skip out on these two at first. I'm going to take the shade Iced first. Oh, and it does kick back on the palette a little bit. I'm going to put this a bit on like my cheeks. This is just showing the color. Oh, and I'm gonna zoom you guys in so you can see the color. But I'm gonna put this on my cheeks just because I'm taking this makeup off anyways. I'll put it all over my face. So that is the shade Iced. I'm gonna clean off my brush. We're gonna go to the other cheek, and I'm gonna take the shade Mesmerized, which is this one right here. At first I was thinking these were gonna be a little bit more of like a blush topper, which is why I put it on my cheeks. But upon putting it on my cheeks, well, this one's a little bit more like a blush topper, but this one's pretty gold. It looks like a duochrome, but I'm not really picking up the duochrome on my face. Mesmerized and Iced. I do like Iced a bit more. Has a little bit more of a, you know, this one's gold. This one's definitely more icy. So now I'm gonna take the shade of Gleam, which is this one, and I'm gonna put this on my like actual area that I highlight on. And I figured to do this so that you guys can see the difference between Gleam and Ice, because they do look a bit similar, but Gleam is a little bit more brighter. Ice has a little bit more of like a toned down version of Gleam on me. And then same thing with Sparks. Sparks is this yellow one right here. This one, when I swatched it, had a little bit more of that like yellowy color. So I do want to swatch it next to Mesmerize. Yeah, this one's definitely more yellow. They're really similar in a way. I don't know, what do you guys think? All these different ones. I'm gonna put Mesmerize on my brow bone here. I'll wipe off my brush, and I'm gonna put Iced on my brow bone on this side. Oh my gosh. Iced is like so, I don't even know. Let's see. We're just putting this all over my face so we can get the best view of what this looks like. And then I'm gonna take Gleam, which is the one that's on my temple over here. I'm gonna put that down my nose. I don't know, I feel like Iced and Gleam look super similar on me. What do you guys think? And then same with the Mesmerize and Sparks. I feel like they look a bit similar, but Sparks is definitely more yellow, and Mesmerize has more of a like true gold look to it. All right, I want to put this on my eyes just for the lulz of it. I'm gonna put Mesmerize on my eyelid. It does have a bit of fallout, especially on my lashes, but these work pretty well on the eyes so far. So there is Mesmerize on my eyelids, and then I'm gonna take the shade Iced, and I'm gonna put that on my brow bone. Yeah, I feel like when I put this on my brow bone, you can really see like how similar Ice and Gleam look. And then of course, I'm gonna put Gleam on my inner corner. Gotta have that inner corner. Ooh, that is an inner corner highlight. I am definitely gonna be using Gleam as an inner corner highlight for sure. Look at that. Now, I'm gonna take the shade Sparks, which is the yellow one, and I'm gonna do something a little funky with this. So I'm gonna put it on my lower lash line. just because I would probably put this on my lid, I kind of want to put it on my lower lash line just to get the idea of what it looks like. And here is the Flash palette completely covering my entire face. Hopefully this gives you guys a better idea of what all the shades look like on my skin tone, but they're definitely gorgeous, gorgeous highlighters. They are a bit similar in my opinion, so depending on how much you want to pay for this, you are getting pretty similar shades depending on your skin tone. All right, I'm gonna take off all of this and then we're gonna get into the beaming loose highlighters. All right, I took everything off and we're starting from ground zero. And now we're gonna get into these beaming loose highlighters. I have 3 different shades. Obviously the extra one is extra from what I've been seeing. You guys check out my friend Nessa. She did her video and like this one looked insane on her. So I'm gonna use this one last because I'm not prepared. So let me take Amped. We're gonna try this one out. This one looks a bit like a pinky color. You saw the swatches were a bit different. Where did I put my highlighting brush? What the heck? I literally just cleaned it off. Where did you go? So from what my friend said, she said that you only need a teeny little bit of this. And tap off the excess. So this is Amped. I'm gonna zoom you guys in so that you can get the best look at this. Here we go. This one looks pretty similar to my skin tone. Let me put a little bit on. This one looks so similar to my skin tone. I don't know why. So this one for me is definitely more on the everyday side. I hope you guys can see it. This is straightforward. It doesn't seem like it leaves like a dark cast or anything like that on me. It literally looks like it's like my skin tone was like a little bit of like a rosy gold kind of a coloring to it. And then the next one we're gonna try out on my other cheek is High Volt, which looks pretty similar in here to Amped, but it should be a little bit more pinkier. All right, High Volt. Oh yeah. High Volt is definitely more of like a pinky champagne. I don't know which one I like more. These are very like everyday highlighters for me. They're not like crazy blinding. I mean, this one definitely has more of a reflect than this one does on me, but these would be ones that I would choose for like an everyday. So that is those 2, and I am terrified to use extra. I don't know why, but like this one is like literally white on my friend, so I'm a bit afraid to try this one out. So this is extra in the lid. I haven't really decided on where I really want to put it. I'm gonna take a teensy little bit. I'm gonna put it on my nose. Oh my gosh. Ooh, man. Yeah, if you want like a Jaclyn Hill highlight from what she has on like her Instagram stories, extra is definitely the way to go. Oh my god. Oh my heavens, blend out please. Okay. Whoa. Honestly, I really like the extra shade because like as you can see, like it's extra, but like add it on top of like different highlighters. Like I'm just doing it in the front of these 2 highlighters, but to really like bring out your cheekbones, like with Jaclyn Hill, she does that whole part of her cheekbone right here. So to like bring that out when you're looking straight forward, and then you have like more of a toned down highlighter back here. Whoa. I can't believe extra. Extra is insanity. Look at that. Like literally the workout insanity. Like what the heck. But it does blend out pretty nicely on me. It doesn't look like crazy. I mean, I can definitely build it up to where it looks like white on me. But yeah, extra is probably the one I'd recommend because you can layer it on top of different highlighters. You can wear it by yourself. You can use it as an inner corner highlight. Everyone wants like that blinding, you know, highlight. And this is definitely it. You can definitely see like, what the heck. My thing with Extra is that when I blend it out, I feel like it does look a bit similar to Gleam in the Flash palette. Actually, let me swatch them next to each other. Okay, so this is Gleam from the Flash palette, and this is Extra. Extra definitely has way more of like a glitter finish to it. Extra is this one, and this is Gleam. Extra definitely has more of that like wet reflect to it, and this one looks like more of like a soft blur formulation. Here we go. So if you guys were wondering about that, we got that covered. And now before I have some like final thoughts and everything, I am going to take this all off. I'm gonna do my makeup per usual, concealer, everything, and we're gonna do some deep diving into the setting powder because I really want to know the best way to use this setting powder. I do like the highlighters that I've been trying out. I will say Extra is definitely my favorite one just because I feel like it's a little bit more versatile, and you can add it on top, you can put it on your eyes, you can use like a eyeliner and do the little like highlighted thing, you know what I mean, inner corner. So I feel like this is a little bit more versatile. If you are looking for just like an everyday like highlighter palette, I probably would suggest this one more, but it is a pretty hefty price point. So for $50 for a highlighter palette, oh man. But now that Jaclyn Hill is in Morphe stores, I definitely caved in and bought them at the Morphe store because initially I was not gonna buy it. I saw all the promos and I was just like, whatever, highlighters, whatever. And then I saw it in the store and I was like, let me dip my fingers in this. I was like, all right, let me get this one and this one and this one and bring it on home with me. After watching this review, I mean, like, I would definitely suggest if you have one in mind and you do have a Morphe store near you, I would probably go to the Morphe store, swatch them all out, because at my Morphe store, they had everything in stock. But let's get into reviewing the setting powder. All right, so I just finished doing a little bit of like some basic makeup. I haven't set my face, but I wanted to go through what I have on my face. I did prime my face with the Good Molecules silicone-free priming moisturizer. This has been my favorite moisturizer and primer since I tried it out. I did do a video on this, so if you want to check that out, I'll have it in the cards and in my description box as well. And so I had this one, makes my skin look really good, but it doesn't add too much of a glow, so it doesn't distract so much on testing the setting powder out. And then I did use the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Soft Matte Foundation as well as the concealer. And then for my eyes, I just used the natural shades of the Manny Morphe palette. I used Dust Cloud, Boy Next Door, and Zaya. And then for my eyeliner, I used the Fenty Beauty 2-in-1 Glitter Eclipse Eyeliner Nepturnt. I don't know. And then I have the Fenty Beauty MVP Brow Pencil. I love Fenty Beauty, whatever. But we're gonna get into this Jaclyn Hill setting powder. Now, I do have there's a little dusty something that went on my nose just now. I do have a product that I've used for a pretty long time. I don't know if you can see like how much I've used of this, but like I've used a fair amount of this, and this is by Inglot. This is the HD Illuminating Loose Powder. This is something that I think is the most similar to the Jaclyn Hill setting powder. So this is what these two look like. They're both pretty similar, and I'm gonna swatch them for you side by side so you can see what they both look like. The Inglot one is a bit brighter in my opinion. So the one on the bottom is Inglot and the one on the top is Jaclyn Hill. This one is definitely a little bit more silvery, and the Doomy is a lot more of like a wet look to it. But I have used the Inglot powder as like a highlighter, as an all-over powder, but I've never used it as like an actual setting powder. But I do think people are using this powder as an all-over face powder. So we're going to be testing it out in a couple different ways, just so if someone uses a certain powder in a certain way, you know what it looks like getting through to this. Now that I've swatched these out, we're gonna zoom you back in and you can see my skin without it being set or anything. I'm gonna start off with under my eyes. With under my eyes, I normally, for like a regular setting powder, I normally get a beauty blender, and this is my like powder beauty blender, and I'll dip the powder in and I'll press it in under my eyes. I don't know how intense this is going to look, but I just want to do it to have testing purposes. So one side I'm gonna bake, and then the other side I am going to just put like normal powder on with a brush. I got a fair amount on the sponge here, and we're just gonna do my normal thing of what I do with powder. So this is the sponge and powder, and with no powder. I do think it took away that like under eye highlight that I have, and it does look a little dry, but I think from a distance you can see like the dewiness, but it does look a little, it does emphasize my texture under my eyes. Alright, so now I'm going to use my normal brush that I use for under my eyes. This is a Morphe brush that I got from a gift set, but I'm just going to pick it up on the brush and tap it in under my eyes. Alright, straight away I already like this side a lot more than the sponge side. The sponge side is still looking way more dry, not as luminous. This side definitely has more of like more of that radiance white underneath my eyes, and this side it took it away a lot. I'm gonna back up a little bit so you guys can see up close and far away. So now I'm gonna pretty much do the same thing on both sides of my whole face. I'm gonna need a bit of powder, so let me get the sponge. Whew. And I'm just gonna start going about my whole face. Now the Fenty foundation, I don't really need to like set it, but this is a foundation that's pretty matte, and I think that it will work pretty well with reviewing a wear test with this. All right, we got our whole face with a sponge on this side. It does have a pretty noticeable glow, but it's not like glitter on my face. And this is no powder. What do you guys think? Now I'm gonna get my regular powder brush. This is a Morphe, doesn't have the name on it anymore. So I'm just gonna take this powder brush. We're gonna do this side with a brush. I do think I like the brush side better. I feel like it doesn't intervene with the foundation, but it still adds like a nice glow within look to your skin. I don't really like the sponge side because I feel like it's just like a little too much on my face. And then another thing that I like to do with the Inglot powder, I'm gonna put the Inglot powder on to show you guys. So what I do is I actually take my highlighting brush with my Inglot powder, but this one is the Jaclyn Hill powder. I'll put it on where I highlight and kind of pack it on. That's what that one looks like. And then let me get the Inglot powder, and I'm gonna put the Inglot powder on the other side. This Inglot powder is gorgeous. You can get it at Macy's. And here's the Inglot powder on my temples, and then Jaclyn Hill. And then before we start this wear test, I am gonna put one of the actual highlighters over top of this. I think I'm gonna go with Ice. I'm gonna take Ice from the, what is this palette called again? The Flash palette. I'm gonna just put a little bit because I want to see how these wear just on my cheekbones. I know there's a bunch of powder on my face. All right, and this is my whole face done with the powder. It does add a nice luminosity to my skin. It's nothing too crazy, but I mean, I do have my Inglot powder that is pretty similar to the Jaclyn Hill powder. The Inglot one is just a little bit brighter. They do have the Inglot one in a few different shades. I don't remember what shade this one is, but it's like the second to lightest shade. But I'm just gonna finish up my makeup, and then I'm gonna go about a wear test and see how this is going to wear with the actual highlighter on my cheekbones and the setting powder with my Fenty foundation because I know how this wears. I did do a wear test with the primer and this foundation together on my channel, so pretty familiar with how they work together at this point, but let's get on to the wear test. All right, so I just finished filming. I'm in my truck, but I wanted to show you guys like my skin. Let's see, I got the sunroof on. Just it on my skin in the sun. I don't know. I feel like it looks a little bit better in the sun, and I also added it in my inner corner, the same gleam shade. Let me know. Do you notice more of a difference inside or outside? I'm curious. All right, we are at the end of this very long review. I've edited the beginning part of this video and I tried so hard to make it shorter, but I really wanted to keep in a lot of what I was talking about. So if you guys made it all the way to this part of the video, comment a Christmas tree in the comments. But I think this looks pretty good. I am getting a little oily around the corners of my nose, but other than that, I think the glow from the highlighter palette and the glow all over my skin is still looking pretty good, and I'm actually not as oily as I thought I would be. It's about 6:30 right now, and I started this video, or I ended my video at 10:30, so that gives you guys a little bit more insights of how long I've had this makeup on. But actually, I'm pretty surprised. So let me zoom you guys in really fast, show you. I am a little bit oily around my nose area, but other than that, I think my skin looks pretty nice, glowy, glow from within, healthy glow. And the highlighter, I think, stayed pretty well on my inner corner and on my cheeks. I do think it faded a little bit, but it's not so bad that like I would give it like a thumbs down or anything. So all in all, out of everything that I have, the one thing that I'm like, yes, you should get it, is definitely the extra highlighter. I explained why earlier in the video, but the extra highlighter is definitely my number one thing. I am not so keen on these two highlighters because I have the highlighter palette. The shade Mesmerize and Ice are okay with me. I don't need something on top of these two, you know what I mean? Even though these are a little bit brighter than the palette, I would prefer just having the palette than these two, but I'm probably gonna keep everything just for like review purposes. As for the palette, I do like the palette more than the other two highlighters, so this one, but this is a pretty hefty price highlighter palette, and it does irritate me that this thing falls down when, so like saying you're like doing your makeup and stuff, like you're like, oh, I like this one. I don't know, I just find it annoying that this doesn't like stay open, or like it only goes so far. So that's my like con with this. Also, fingerprints, hella fingerprints, if you're okay with getting a bunch of fingerprints over everything. And as for the powder, I am really pleasantly surprised with the powder that I'm not like super oily at the end of this, because I do get pretty oily with the HD powder, but I mean it is an HD powder, so it does have more silica in here, and silica can make you a little bit more oily, but I believe this has more, it should have more talc in it from how my skin has reacted. So I am pleasantly surprised with this highlighter, or setting powder, illuminating powder, whatever you want to call it. Though, since I do have something else that's similar to it, I don't know how much I justify it. So, all in all, extra is my number one, and then the Jaclyn Hill palette is, the highlighter palette is my number two. But if you guys enjoyed this super in-depth review of the Jaclyn Hill highlighter collection, please give this video a thumbs up. Comment down below your thoughts, if you liked it, if you're over it, what you thought. I know there's a bunch of drama on it, even though I just feel like it's Jaclyn Hill, drama's gonna follow her. But if you want to watch my last video with the Manny MUA X Morphe palette, I'll have that video right over here for you guys. This video will be suggested to you by YouTube, and my face will be right here, where you can click on it and subscribe to my channel.